What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Fight Factory Wrestling Podcast right here, courtesy of MyFandom and, of course, the MyFandom YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to that for all of your fun wrestling-related, soon-to-be sports-related content over there on the MyFandom YouTube channel. I'm Dave Sturchio. What you don't see is Tommy D, and what you also don't see is Chris Payne, because these guys are both now running from the grind. That's right. These guys are slackers. They suck. And I'm here by myself. Au contraire, I do have the wonderful, lovely Miss Shay in the building. Shay, how are we doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I mean, I could be better if I had co-host. But yeah, no, everything's good over here. I also want to let you guys know that we are being brought to you in part by Absolute Eyewear, getting involved each and every week. They are over there on Main Street in Woodbridge. They are the suppliers of all of my glasses. So basically, I'm not wearing any now because I do it for aesthetics. But when I'm home and I can't see shit, I'm looking at the TV using my Absolute Eyewear frames and lenses. And right now, they're running a special, free lenses for the kids. So for back to school. Also, Superbird Tequila, our friends over there, as always. I want to also thank Superbird for their generous sponsorship for me and Josh Chernoff to go out to SummerSlam. I know it's been a while since we talked. Last week, I had a little bit of an illness. This week, we're back. Oh, I'm back. But yeah, thank you to Superbird. They helped us out tremendously. Me and Josh had amazing access at SummerSlam, being up there in the press box with all the rest of the media. You know, the who's who of the media were up there. It was very, very cool to meet and interact. I saw good friends like Gabby was there, as well as Chris Van Vliet was in the building. And then I saw Sean Ross Sapp in the building. There was everybody there. I didn't get a chance to meet him, but the guy who does the Angle podcast, another great creator on Instagram as well. A lot of pro wrestling content. We are also very pleased to be introduced to our new friend, Fago. He is now running some of the PR for MyFandom. So thank you to Fago and everything he's been doing, supplying us with all sorts of, I'm sure you saw it. There's like all of a sudden you're like, how the hell they get to meet Gary Vee, Emmett Smith, all this other. That's the access that this guy's given us. So we're very excited about that. Santiago Sports, got to keep shouting those guys out. They're wonderful people. Go check out Tyler and all of his WWE merchandise. And if you're in the hobby, big event coming up this weekend. It is Fanatics Fan Fest. Me and Josh will be there as part of MyFandom, and of course, I'm pretty sure Santiago Sports has a booth in the hobby section. And when I say hobby, I mean like card collecting and memorabilia and shit like that. So go check those guys out. They're wonderful partners of ours. RMJ Environomics. Tom usually does a better job of explaining what the hell they do, but they are a sponsor, and we do appreciate them greatly. I know they have a lot to do with some of your oil sweeps and tank sweeps and stuff like that to get your house in order if you're trying to sell, buy, all that good shit. Mutts and Pups, if you're in the business or in the need of a dog walker or a dog sitter, go check out my man over there at Mutts and Pups. And, of course, Alliance Orthopedics is the official poacher, I want to say. They have poached a couple of my good friends who used to work at other clinics, now are working at Alliance Orthopedics. So they are the NWO, like officially. They're bringing on a lot more people. So one thing we got away from last time we were talking on the air is that we weren't talking current product or wrestling, so we'll get back into that today. First, I do want to let everybody know about Knuckle Brawl, a couple updates with that. We have signed great matches so far. It goes down Saturday night, September 21st, at the Staten Island University Community Ballpark. I got all that in one breath. The very gracious people over there at the home of the Ferry Hawks. So they're rounding out their minor league baseball season. And just when you thought they were closing the doors for the fall, here comes Fight Factory Wrestling with Knuckle Brawl. Our featured guest is a real one, Enzo, otherwise known as Enzo Amore from WWE. Former, I think he was 205, was it 205 Live Cruiserweight champion? But he's also obviously, best known for his work with Big Cass, or Big Bill, as some people call him over there at AEW. But Enzo will be in the building. He takes on GKM, which is a great matchup for both of those guys. I know GKM is jazzed up about that. I really have, you probably noticed this already, Shay, but like we've kind of established some of our new core guys that we want to be showcasing against some of the bigger names. So if it wasn't Enzo, it was going to be Shelton Benjamin against a Casey Navarro. And like we're trying to kind of give the rub to some of these up and comers, because I really think it's not a matter of if, It's a matter of when these guys get picked up by the big companies and aren't able to be used anymore, or their price goes up and we won't be able to financially use them anymore. So GKM, Enzo, very excited about that. We just brought in AJ Francis to take the place of Ben Bishop for our Premier Championship match between Danny Moff and AJ Francis, otherwise known or formerly known as Top Dollar. He is TNA's very own, former WWE as well. Very pumped about that. Very cool dude. I've talked to him plenty about the booking and everything like that, so we're very excited to bring him in. There's just a lot. There's a lot. Alpha Jr. is also coming in. He's got his beef with Moff right now, but he's going to be coming in to take on Sean Donovan one-on-one. Those two have history. Big tag team match between Devastation Inc., and that's Victor Benjamin and Trax, to take on Chris Steeler and Steve Gipke, who I was both with those guys singing on the top of our lungs with arms wide open. We were all at the Creed concert last week, and that was probably where I caught my cold, if not Cleveland. I've just been all over the place lately, but had a great time with those guys, drank a lot of beers with those guys, and Scott Stapp, you still got it, bro. So that's that. We have a couple other matches that we're still down the pipe, if I'm not mistaken. There is a women's match that we're doing. It's Freya the Slayer versus Hit Me, Kai. I already knew it. All right, it's just off the top of my head. I'm just trying to rattle them off. Don't have them written down here, but those two women are very jazzed up as well. We haven't formally announced them with a graphic yet, but we are in the process of making that. Is there anything else? I'm trying to think. I'm probably missing one.
Homicide and Casey.
How the hell did I miss that one? So I spoke to Homicide when I was on my way to Cleveland. Because, we're looking for somebody for Casey Navarro after Benjamin pulled out. And I just talked to my friend Matt Revel, who is the owner and booker of Constant Wrestling, who just had their first successful show. Homicide was on it. Homicide has this aura about him that every time he comes out, I either think, A, this is going to be a banger of a matchup, or B, I should probably get to the closest exit because I'm scared. So Homicide is a very cool dude. I got the chance to talk to him via text. He's in his last run. He told me. He said, he's not going to be doing this much longer. This is kind of like his retirement tour. He's been in this business for 30 years, or 20 years, 30, one of those two. But either way, I think it's 30. But either way, Homicide's had himself an incredible career. His best work from just pretty much everywhere. It's always a weird thing that when these guys don't get their opportunities on the bigger stages, you wonder why. And look, sometimes it's just the flavors don't meet up, and that's fine too. But at the end of the day, I really think that Homicide is one of those journeymen that deserve all the flowers, and he's going to get Casey Navarro one-on-one, and I'm very excited about that. So that's Knuckle Brawl. That is going down September 21st in Staten Island. Get your tickets right now, fairyhawks.com. It's on the event page, on their outside events page. So obviously you're not looking to go to a baseball game. You're looking to go see some wrestling. So very, very excited about that. You going?
Maybe.
Oh, maybe.
I haven't thought about it yet.
Are the parental units going?
Yes.
I mean, it's around the corner from your house, I'm sure.
It's on our island. So
it's on the islands. So I'm very excited to break into New York. And I know last time we talked about this event, Tommy was here, and it's definitely not one of those step on toes events. Warriors of Wrestling have established themselves as the premier promotion out there, and we're very excited to bring in TJ Marconi, Chris Steeler, guys that are on their roster that we feel like will do very, very well for us. Chris Steeler's been rocking with us since the showcase match once upon a time. Very pumped about that, and that's that. So let's get into some wrestling, right? Some WWE stuff, all post SummerSlam. SummerSlam, by the way, we didn't really get a chance to kind of put a bow on that. What a great event. A lot of new champions. There was, at one point, I thought every single championship changed hands, but I was wrong because I thought, just based off of the scenario, I thought that Rhea lost her belt again. I was like, it wasn't. It was just she just lost her relationship again, or her on-screen relationship again, as Liv took that out. So that was an amazing card, top to bottom. Got to see the return of the original Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. I mean, that's been rumored and touted and talked about and viewed on social media over 50 million times or some shit. So he is the ultimate needle mover, and it was definitely a good time for Roman Reigns to return to the WWE. And since then, he's kind of done his thing already. So I think he's being advertised again for this week.
I think so.
Last week, he just kind of went out there and took care of business. I'd like to hear him talk. I'd like to hear what he's got to say. I would like to see the wise man back. There is a picture that surfaced that Paul Heyman was walking step by step, side by side with him in the back during SmackDown, or even right before SummerSlam. So it's only a matter of time before they bring back Paul Heyman. I have this weird fantasy booking right now that it's in my head, and I don't know if it'll ever play out because Lord knows where they stand with certain people, not presently in WWE. But I feel like, all signs are pointing to this civil war, right? For Survivor Series, which is going to go down in Vancouver, Canada, for War Games. And it's crazy because it feels like just yesterday we were all watching CM Punk return at the Survivor Series last year, and all of a sudden that's a year ago. So we are living in definitely some kind of alternate universe. But my ultimate fantasy booking would be, obviously you have the bloodline being run by Solo Sikoa and the Tongas, and obviously Jacob Fatu got a little banged up at SummerSlam, but he's going to be all right. He should be back in action by the end of August. But to ultimately see that Roman Reigns needs Jimmy and Jay, which that eventually is going to happen, you would assume. Maybe Jimmy is as early as this week. I don't know. Because, look, they're not going to have Roman Reigns go up on everybody every week. It's just that'll kill the whole thing. And it's funny. I don't know if anybody noticed this little tidbit, but if you read through the fine print and read between the lines and all that shit, notice how Jacob Fatu got hurt at SummerSlam. But if he was able to get up, he would just get in the ring and probably get taken out by Roman Reigns, and they didn't want that to happen. They didn't want Jacob Fatu or Roman Reigns to interact at all because that might be your ultimate payoff match down the line, and that would be unfucking believable to watch Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns do his thing. But my ultimate fantasy booking is, yes, you get the Usos back, and everybody's like, oh, it's got to be Sami Zayn, right? I mean, they've been butchering and beating up on the wise man. You got to bring back Brock. You have to.
I thought you were going to say put Paul Heyman in the match for a second.
No. I've seen Paul Heyman work. It's not pretty. No, Brock Lesnar has to be the extra hand that they need. And how much of a freaking reaction would that get if you got the 4 bloodline members on the 3, Roman and the Usos, and all of a sudden you hear Brock's music? The place would become unglued. And I think that would be, a top moment in WWE social media clips wise and all that other shit. I think that would be just a top moment. And maybe I'm just speaking because I'm a Brock guy and I'm a Brock mark, but look, Brock Lesnar is dollars as well. He equals big money in the WWE. So that's why I think that would be incredible.
Well, with that same reasoning, what about CM Punk in the match?
There is some allure to that because he is also a Paul Heyman guy, original Paul Heyman guy. And I think that would be very interesting, but I don't know if it would pack the same punch. I do like Punk, and I do like, I plan on trying to meet him and getting him to unblock me on Twitter this weekend. But, whatever. I can't have it all. But I will say that Punk is intriguing. I like that idea. I just don't know if it would work in this sense. I think you need a bigger presence in Brock Lesnar because if you have a guy like Jacob Fatu, who poises as the bigger threat, Brock Lesnar or CM Punk? I think it's Brock, and it's not close. So Raw kicked off on Monday. Rhea and Damian Priest, great visual because you saw Rhea out there kick off Raw, and then you have Liv and Dirty Dom up in the seats, and all of a sudden you have just this massive structure of a human and Damian Priest just appear behind them, and then they brawl out, and it's great, and I loved it. And then obviously it sets up and goes into a Carlito match where Damian Priest gets the win. I love Damian Priest and Rhea together by themselves. I think that's a phenomenal pairing. I think it's going to go even deeper than what you could do with the Judgment Day. Did you see anything about the change of the name of the Judgment Day?
No.
There was a rumor going around that they were going to be called Street Trash.
Street Trash?
Street Trash. And it just doesn't do it for me, and I almost feel like it's an insult, but they might embrace the whole we're the dirty street trash. I don't know. I can't see it, but we've seen crazier things and we've seen dumber names. So we'll see if that happens. Anyway, American Made defeats the Alpha Academy. Damage Control and Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark ended in a no contest. Women's tag team number 1 contender match. I'm not into it. I think they're trying too hard with Damage Control. I think that's a lost cause. I don't know. I just don't buy into it. But I do like the team of Baszler, Stark, and Sonya Deville. I do really like that team. I think they can make some serious waves in the women's division as a group and individually. I think they're all very good. Great promo with Gunther and Randy Orton. I think that's going to be a fantastic match. However, it's the same feeling that I'm getting with Cody Rhodes giving a championship match to Kevin Owens. These championship matches at the Bash of Berlin, to me, the challengers don't have a prayer. Like there's no fiber in my body that thinks like, Randy Orton's got a shot. Like, no. And same thing with Kevin Owens. Like it's almost like they're killing time for something. I don't. This Cody run is really upsetting me. Like it's not. Look, he is the pillar when it comes to kissing babies and Make-A-Wish and foundations and charity work and just the ultimate uber babyface like a John Cena was and is. But like his title defenses are just getting stale, man. Like there's nothing to him. The Solo one worked out perfect. I think it ended well. But like you go from Solo Sikoa and dealing with the bloodline to Kevin Owens, and I love Kevin Owens. Don't get me wrong. Kevin Owens is one of my favorite wrestlers maybe on the roster. But like I'm like, this doesn't make any sense.
It just came out of nowhere.
Right. Like it's just like, oh yeah, by the way, Kevin Owens, you're next. It's like, wait, what? Hold on. I didn't see it. I mean, I saw it, but I didn't see it coming. Weird feel. But CM Punk finally got his hands on Drew McIntyre and beat the shit out of him with a belt. We saw the welts. They released pictures online. Man, it's another thing about pro wrestling. It's like, I get it. Cody was very infamous on this with the Rock stuff. Like, yo, lay it in, make it look like that you're just murking me and just really hurting me. When you get whipped by a belt, and I will say this as a 38-year-old man who once upon a time had a grandfather who, would square up. You know what I mean? Like, would get the belt and start, cracking it. And you're like, well, that's going to suck. The whole thing's going to suck. This process is going to suck. And then for Punk to just beat the living hell out of listen, Drew McIntyre, tough guy. I get it. Real tough guy. Probably has a very high tolerance for pain. But, like, you're not whipping me with a belt over and over again to the point where I'm bleeding and I'm welted up on live TV. I get it's for the good of the business and I get it's for the good of the product. But Jesus Christ, like that was unnecessary. And he literally beat the shit out of him. And it was not any good. My favorite thing going right now on Monday Night Raw, 2 weeks in a row, is Bronson Reed.
Really?
I love it. I love what they're doing with Bronson Reed because that dude was a lost cause for a very, very long time. The size, the ability, the stature, the presence of somebody that big, and you couldn't figure out what to do with him. Right? And now you just have him saying, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to go and just bash everybody. And he started with Seth Rollins, who, the internal bleeding and all that shit, right? You eliminate Seth Rollins for a little bit. And now you really put the heat on him by just completely annihilating a national treasure in R-Truth. And now who knows how long R-Truth will be out. But what they're doing with Bronson Reed now, as opposed to what they were trying to do with him before, is great. It's really great for his character, his development. I think he's going to be a star in this business. And I think they were fumbling it a lot. And, this is something I have to give credit to Triple H because this dude, like every time you think someone's about to get lost in the shuffle, they come out and they do big things. And when I say that, everybody was getting mad at the idea that nothing good was coming to LA Knight. And then he wins the United States Championship and all is forgotten. You're all forgetting about what's going on with Bronson Reed until you can no longer forget about what's going on with Bronson Reed because he's making that much of an impact. They're calling it the tsunami. Like, it's just... And first of all, let me tell you something. Climbing up to the top rope, a man his size, that's not easy, okay? It takes a lot. It does. And for him to keep doing it repetitively and doing it over and over again and landing on your own stomach, whether you have somebody there to land on or not, That takes a lot out of a man his size. So kudos to the wind and the air that Bronson Reed has right now. He is doing phenomenal things, and I'm loving it. Braun Breaker at the end of the night, an incredible, incredible match. I can't say enough about Braun Breaker. He's my favorite guy on the roster right now, not named Roman Reigns. Him and Sammy go 2 out of 3 falls. The spot where he just chucks him into the chair over the guard. Dude, Braun Breaker's a freak. Everybody knows he's a freak, and this put him on the map, if he wasn't on the map already, to beat down Sami Zayn the way he did after what Sami Zayn just did to Gunther. So now you're looking at it like that. I used to look at it like that with Brock. When Brock took out Taker's streak, I said, now you can't have Brock lose to anybody going forward because he's the guy behind the streak's ending, right? So for the longer 666-day streak of Gunther's Intercontinental reign to end because of Sami, I figured Sami Zayn can't be touched for a little while. But here we are, and it's Braun Breaker is the one doing the touching. And let me tell you something. He is beating him up. And what's next for Braun Breaker? I have no idea. I know he openly went out there and challenged John Cena because John Cena doesn't have any opponents yet or anything lined up for his retirement tour. But very, very excited to see what they do with Braun Breaker. He is the future of the WWE. He is a future world champion. It's just a matter of when. But this Intercontinental Championship reign could be very, very good. I don't know your thoughts about Braun Breaker, but, I mean, he's got to be entertaining to you as well, no?
No, he definitely is. It was a great match. I didn't watch all of it because I kind of zipped through Raw this morning.
Is that a Slipknot t-shirt?
Yeah, because I went to Slipknot on Monday.
How were they?
They were very good.
I push my fingers into my... I tell you what, early Slipknot, I was a big fan of.
They only played their early songs. They said that they didn't play...
You didn't get beat up or anything? You didn't go in the mosh pit?
No, I didn't. I was in a seat. I was actually in the handicap section by accident.
Oh.
Anyway.
If you would have went into the mosh pit, you would have also wound up in the handicap section.
But because it's their 25th anniversary tour, so they were like,
I'm old.
Yes, you are. We're not playing any songs from after 1999.
Yeah, so you didn't even hear Pulse of the Maggots. You didn't hear Duality. That's all new shit.
I didn't hear Psychosocial or Before I Forget.
Oh, man, so good. Slipknot. Not enough burn for Slipknot.
So they played no songs that they wrote since I was born.
Shit. Man, you always have a really nice, kind way of reminding me how old I am. So anyway, off the Slipknot
I didn't
path.
watch Raw because I was at the Garden.
Oh, that's right. Oh, you did say you had a concert. They're at the Garden?
Yeah, they sold out the Garden.
Yeah? You know who's going to be at the Garden in November?
Creed.
I
looked at the tickets. They're expensive.
Are they?
Yeah, they're the cheapest ones were like $130.
I got snuck down. The photographer Stephanie that works here.
She was there?
She was there with her husband who works at WWE.
Oh.
They had seats down in the 100s. They did the whole swap-a-roo with the tickets. She's like, come down here. I was up in the 400s at PNC because I wanted the seat. I was like, it's going to be rainy and shitty. I want to be able to sit and not in the fucking lawn, right? So she hits me up. She's like, come on down. And I was like, I'm not just coming down. I hate that feeling of having like an usher be like, nope, gotta go, right? That would be so embarrassing. But she was clutch. She had her husband meet us up with 2 hard tickets, me and Chris Steeler, and snuck us right down. We were like 15 rows from the stage.
What about Gipke?
We lost Gipke at the entrance. Like, he was with his girlfriend and a bunch of other people that we didn't know.
I thought it was just the 3 of you that went.
No. Okay. It was me and Steeler went together, and then Gipke was with his girlfriend and like I think 2 other guys.
Okay.
But yeah, so anyway, off the beaten path there, Creed.
Yeah, we're going to concerts this summer. I would like to go to Creed in November if I could, put aside the money.
You want to talk about not being alive for anything? They were literally their their tour right now is called the Summer of '99 tour.
Yep. Again, wasn't born for that.
Oh my God, it's so depressing. Anyway, so that's ended Raw. Raw was fantastic again. Can't wait to see what happens on SmackDown because you got the Tribal Chief coming back, and we'll see what happens there. I don't know if you could build more of this Cody Kevin thing. To me, again, it's a space filler right now. Look, they're going to put together a great match, and don't get me wrong, it will probably be one of the better matches, if not the match of the night. But the problem is nobody in their mind can even contemplate a situation where Kevin Owens would be the one to take the belt away. It's not going to happen. So why do it at all? AEW, huh? We haven't talked to AEW in like a month and a half.
We haven't been here in like a month and a half.
Well, I was here 2 weeks ago, but we didn't talk AEW. We talked more like Fight Factory stuff. But
You know what's crazy is the War on the Shore was almost a month ago.
dude, I know, and I'm starting to I'm starting to realize that we're so now far removed from this vision, this baby that Payne had constructed in his head, and it's over. It's coming back. You know, we'll be back next summer, but like this idea, just gone. It's so weird. But speaking of next summer, what was just announced today, AEW All In will be at in Arlington, Texas. So if there was ever a time for me to go out there for an AEW pay-per-view, it would be then. Texas is my favorite place in the world, hence the hat. But they will be performing at the Texas Rangers ballpark, so not Jerry World next door. This is a baseball stadium, which, again, holds a lot of people. Not as much as Jerry World, but I feel like this was the smarter decision for AEW. You're going to be able to pack a baseball stadium with probably 60 to 70,000 fans because of the fact that you're going to have floor seats and all this other shit. So bravo to AEW, still making moves. So for all you like just the pathetic basement-dwelling Mark Boy neckbeards out there, and I can only speak so long because I do have a neckbeard going on right now. Got to get shaped up tomorrow. But for all you people out there that are rooting for this company to fail and say, like, they'll be dead in a day or dead in a year or whatever, you know, there's obviously something to this. They obviously have something going on, right? And whether it be an unlimited bank account with Tony Khan's dad or whatever, be that as it may, they're still running a massive pay-per-view next July. They're already talking about next July. They're not worried about All In that's coming up this week or 10 days from now. They're talking about next year already. So they're thinking big picture. So bravo to AEW.
You know what we didn't talk about because we weren't here last week?
What?
The Shane McMahon thing with Tony Khan.
So it's interesting. Do I think we live in a world where Shane McMahon and Tony Khan can work together as an actual partnership? No. I don't think that's a thing. Do I think that Shane McMahon would come in as an advisor or like a, what else do you call it, a consultant? I could see that. I can 100% see that. Shane McMahon, listen, you're not going to find somebody with the wit and the wherewithal to weather all the storms that Shane McMahon had to weather. One, you got to live under your father's shadow the entire time you're alive. Two, you also have to endure everything that your dad went through on top of being a businessman yourself. So I know he's got the business aspect of it down pat. What he can do with AEW, I don't know if it has anything to do with like creative, but maybe like where to spend your money, how to allocate certain funds. Like there's business that Shane McMahon knows that Tony Khan does not. Tony Khan's been only at this for 5 years. So Shane McMahon's been alive on this earth for 50, and he's been in the business for that long as well. So do I think there's a world where they can work together? Sure. On like an official front? Probably not. That would send shockwaves through the entire wrestling industry if Shane McMahon all of a sudden pulled a Panama City and showed up on Dynamite one night and said, "Hey, Dad, what's up?" Or, "Hey, Paul, I'm doing okay." You know what I mean? Like shit like that would it stir it all up? Absolutely. Would it give him any staying power? Maybe. Would it intrigue some people to come down there to AEW? Sure. There's names out there that we haven't talked about that really haven't shown their face in any capacity. I'm seeing more of this is going to sound terrible. I'm seeing more of the announcer than I am Ricochet, if you know what I'm talking about. What's her name again?
Samantha
Irvin. You and your Instagram. Calm down. Okay, you're getting a lot of people riled up. But yeah, I haven't heard anything about Ricochet. Does he show up at All In? I don't know. There's a guy like Shane McMahon who was around for Ricochet's debut-ish, or at least in the fold when he was around. Convince him? I don't know. I have no idea, but I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know if Shane McMahon has the ability to lure anybody, but there's nobody to lure right now. I think everybody's kind of content in their ways. Randy Orton just re-signed. Drew McIntyre just re-signed. Punk's obviously been there. Cody's not going anywhere. They have their mainstays. Braun Breaker's the future over there. They don't need any AEW talent to come up. AEW talent would love for some of these people to come down. I just don't, and I'm saying down in a geographic sense, not like, oh, they're taking a step down. Like, or maybe people do think that, but I don't. I think wrestling is wrestling, and if you're on national TV, fucking bravo. Like, you're on national fucking TV. But anyway, Dynamite. Mercedes defeats Shida for the TBS Championship. Mercedes and Britt went after each other. They're going to go down. They're going to go wrestle at All In as well.
Do you think we see Jamie Hayter come back at All In? Because she's been gone for a long time.
That's true, too.
And I'm thinking with Mercedes, and I think her name's Camille.
Mm-hmm.
Britt Baker kind of needs someone else in her corner.
I could see it. Yeah, why not? I mean, there's going to be some surprises at All In, maybe leading up. Like I said, we're 10 days away as we record this today on a Thursday. It goes down next week. So if we have the fellas in studio, we'll make some predictions on that. Hangman Adam Page defeats Jay Lethal. Not sure if there's any story behind that other than just, two good wrestlers going at it. Jack Perry versus Darby Allin in a coffin match at All In. I love that. I do love that. That is, obviously Darby written all over it, but Jack Perry needs himself a defining moment. This might be one of those chances for him to make his presence felt. Again, you think that a lot of people don't like Jack Perry because he's just, the stuff with Punk or whatever else, but you got to give the guy a little credit. He made a name for himself by leaving and coming back. And I think it's a very big thing for a guy like Jack Perry. And I think this match is going to slap. I really do. I said slap. That's a Tommy D reference because we're not almost 40 years old using that kind of language. Orange Cassidy defeats Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong to enter the Casino Gauntlet match at All In. First. Okay. Great. The Young Bucks defeated the Acclaim by disqualification for the World Tag Team Championship. Referee got knocked down. The Young Bucks tried to use the title belts. FTR comes out to stop them. Led to all three teams going after each other. The winner of the Acclaim versus FTR, a collision, will face the Young Bucks at All In. All one breath. Look, if fucking FTR gets another title shot, I'm going to be very upset.
I think it's going to be a triple threat tag.
You gotta, right? I mean, or maybe, I don't really know if you could do a four corners at this point. But yeah, triple threat tag team match seems to be the course of what they should do. I don't book the shit, but again, you gotta. This is another strike while the iron's hot type deal for the Acclaimed. I think they finally got their stock back up after kind of falling a little bit. Now they're right there again. I would love to see them win the tag team championships at All In. That'd be great. And then Swerve Strickland defeats Wheeler Yuta by referee decision. Danielson got involved to save Yuta, so Swerve went after Danielson, and they will obviously square off at All In for the World Championship. And, of course, everybody knows by now the stipulation, if Bryan Danielson loses, his career is over. They put together a hell of a package online that I watched today. Look, Bryan Danielson, for me, he never did it for me. There was no allure for Bryan Danielson, or even when he was Daniel Bryan and doing the yes thing. I get it. It was a movement. It was cool. But he never, he's a phenomenal wrestler. Don't get me wrong. But his character, his charisma, it just, for me, doesn't do it. But this video package that they put out there, I kind of got somebody cut some onions, and I was like, wow, man, this guy's had a fantastic career, spanning off of Ring of Honor, WWE, AEW, back to Ring of Honor for a little bit, back to AEW. He's doing a lot of cool shit. He's had a phenomenal career. And if this is it, which I think it might be, because to me, I think taking the belt off of Swerve this quick, and I say this quick, he's probably been champion for quite some time now. I can't really recall when he won it. He beat
Samoa Joe, maybe?
Yeah, but that was how long ago? That was probably 5-6 months ago. So
was that at World's End?
If that was the case, then that's January. That's 8 months ago. But in any event, I think it's too quick. If you want to build Swerve, you have Swerve beat Bryan Danielson at All In. Look, Bryan Danielson has a family. He's married to a Bella. You know what I mean? He's got his life in order.
Dynasty in April.
So that's 4, and we're in
4 months.
So 4 months. So yeah, you can't take the title off of him this fast. And besides, if what we're seeing here is Bryan Danielson is trying to get out. He's trying to get out of wrestling, which he should because he's hurt all the time. His body is breaking down. So call it a career. And it's again, no disrespect, but you gotta want to do things with your kids down the line. You can't just pretend everything's okay at all times. But yeah, so I firmly believe that we'll get a Swerve Strickland win, a big, big win for his career. And then we'll see Bryan Danielson off into the sunset where he can get healthy and, live a prosperous life. And I think he could be a great producer for wrestling. I think he could put together a phenomenal match. So he does have a job, I'm assuming, after his in-ring stuff. And I'm pretty sure he even helps out Tony Khan right now with a lot of the disciplinary actions and shit like that. He's got some kind of role. So if anything, it gets expanded and it's less taxing on your body. Go for it. So we'll get more into All In next week on the show. I want to thank all of our sponsors for coming on board. As always, all the support, it goes a very, very long way. You're the reason why that this show wasn't postponed again. I was like, no, I can't do that to the sponsors. We'll talk some wrestling. We'll get some of the news out there. We'll give you updates on Knuckle Brawl and everything like that. But yeah, I guess that's really it. Wrestling is supposed to be a fun thing. I really, truly believe that Cleveland was a little bit of an eye-opener for me as far as people in the media. I hate a little less than I did before. Like, I had my personal beefs with people, and I always thought to myself, if I ever see this person, I'll strangle them. And then you see the person in their element, and they're the bigwig. They're the people that people are turning to these guys that, they're important. They're important people in this business. And I think it's silly to continue to have a grudge with anybody when you're all having, you all have the same goals. So, and you're trying to make a name for yourself in the world of media. Just don't be a fake it till you make it person. You know what I mean? Like, if you got the gift of gab, you should be on screen and you should be having your own show and your own content and all this other shit. Don't steal anything from anybody. Don't pretend to be somebody you're absolutely not. And there's so many more I can go into as far as the world of wrestling media is concerned. But I will encourage you guys right now to go download the MyFandom app if you haven't done so already. We have thousands of users that are on there contributing and showing them what you do is it's awesome, man. It really is a very innovative app, and I have to give the flowers to Fred Chernoff, Josh's brother. Look, I could barely use the calculator on the computer, right? Like, so for somebody to design a fucking app, and make it so you can just log everything and have it all in one place. Every single live event, sporting event you've ever been to, any ticket stub, any picture you took with your dad, or any picture you took with your girlfriend or your wife or your kids or whatever, you can build your wrestling legacy and your sports legacy in one spot. And I really, truly believe that once this gets the notoriety and the recognition that it deserves, there's not going to be another place for you to find something like this. I think this is one of a kind. I think it's innovative. I think it's very, very user-friendly. You go on there, you upload photos just like you would on any other social media platform, and it's all there for you forever. You're not interrupted by, Trump and Biden. You're not interrupted by any bullshit from the Olympics. You're not interrupted by anything. You are just zeroed in on everything you love, sports and wrestling, and I think that would make the world a very, very better place. So with that, I'm going to end it on that note. Shay, you've been nothing but great over there helping me run this show by myself today. For Dave Sturchio, and of course on behalf of Tommy D and Chris Payne, this has been another episode of the Fight Factory Wrestling Podcast, and we'll see you guys next time.